Have you ever wondered what's outside Stardew Valley? How big the world is really, and what exactly can we find there? The only locations that we have visited outside the valley were the desert, Zuzu City and Ginger Island. These are all zones that our characters have visited one way or another. But, through the text and story in the game, there are a lot more zones that are mentioned. So today, I wanted to change up the content that I do and talk about the world of Stardew Valley. So let's start exploring! Now let's start our journey from the place we have started all of our playthroughs from, and that is Pelican Town. Pelican Town is located in Stardew Valley, which is an area under the Ferngill Republic. When you open the map of Stardew Valley, you can see a lot of landmarks. We'll start with the northwest corner, which has the Calico Desert. From this image we can't really pinpoint how big the desert really is, so we can only guess how far it goes westward. But for now, let's just say it goes quite far. It takes up a huge area. On the west from our farm we can also see the Secret Woods, which we still also don't know how big they are. In the top northeast corner we can see a mountain range, and towards the north you can see a lot of mountains in the distance. The south of the valley is open to the sea, where we have Willie's cabin. And let's not forget about the sewer that we can see draining in the sea, under the Cindersap forest. That really leaves us with the east direction. The only thing that we can see there are a bunch of trees and the mountains that I mentioned towards the northeast corner. So we don't really know how far the coast goes towards that side. Does it cut out or does it continue onwards? The map shows every building in the valley. You can see the mines, the Adventurers Guild, the quarry and even the Wizard's Tower and more. You can also see the one road that leads in and out of the valley, which connects to the road in the Calico Desert that goes into two directions. And this is all that we can get from this map. It's not much. Pelican Town is quite small, but the areas around it seem quite vast. With the addition of the Ginger Island update, we have the Fern Archipelago, which is under the protection of the Ferngill Republic. And the Fern Islands are located south from Stardew Valley. So that's all that we can take from this map. Everything else about the world and locations in the game is told through story and some cutscenes as well. One of those main areas that we know of and we've started the game there is Zuzu City. Zuzu City is the nearby main town next to Stardew Valley. We, as well as some villagers, start our journeys there, and we move afterwards in Stardew Valley. Zuzu City is quite near to the valley. We can see it clearly in the distance in Sebastian's 10 Heart event, where he takes us with a motorcycle on a nearby cliff, and you can see the city glowing in the distance. We also take a trip there for the band's concert. There are areas that you don't visit often and you can hear about them from the people in the dialogues. But there are areas that you don't even visit at all, and you only hear about them from the villagers in dialogues or item descriptions or even some books. One such example is Grampleton. You hear that from the villagers' dialogues. For example, during Clint's 6 Heart event, he invites Emily to the Grampleton Carnival. Or the movie It Howls in the Rain references Grampleton. So there's quite a lot of references for that town or area. Another such area is Prairie Island. It's referenced in the movie Natural Wonders, exploring our vibrant world. And it's an island far to the west of the Gem Sea, home to a diverse array of natural biomes and an abundant population of raccoons. We also have Castle Village, which is mentioned in the descriptions of earmuffs, and the Gem Sea. The Gem Sea is the ocean that makes up the entire southern coast of Pelican Town. Now those are the smaller areas, But first of all, let's talk about the country that Stardew Valley is located in, and that is the Ferngill Republic. There are a lot of mentions about the Ferngill Republic. Well, it's normal, Stardew Valley is located in that nation. In leaving off the land on the 25th of fall, year 2, the host mentions that it's just a couple of days until communities around the Republic celebrate Spears Eve. This suggests that the holiday is celebrated only in the Republic, but we can't know for sure. But one thing that we do know is that the Ferngill Republic is at war with the Gotoro Empire. We know that because Kent is a soldier for the Ferngill Republic and he is a survivor from a prison camp there. Not much is known about the Gotoro Empire. We only know that it's a nation at war with the Ferngill Republic, located across the Gem Sea south of Stardew Valley. The traveling merchant often contains goods smuggled out of the Gotoro Empire, and that's why they're more expensive. But in the whole game, there's never anything specific about them. It's just flavor text, until you get the world map, which is found in the furniture catalog. This little piece of decoration opens up a lot of opportunities for us to see the world of Stardew Valley. We just don't know if that is the real map or is just a decoration from let's say, a game map inside Stardew Valley, because there are board games there, as you know. Here on this map we can see 2 big land masses, we can see also 9 islands, and the North and South Poles. So the world from here we can see that it's quite big. Now on this map we can see the regions split by different colors, and those colors do repeat. We can see a few greens, few yellows, few dark greens, and more. But we just don't know if these are countries, which are split by the color, or they are biome-like regions for desert, forest, and more. They can also be different states which are a part of a single country. We can't really know for sure. There are 4 gray corners, which I think are nails that you nail down the poster on, and with those don't count. But let's just now see how we can find the Ferngill Republic or the Gotoro Empire, or even the Prairie Island. As we all know, south of Stardew Valley is the Gem Sea. That's the sea that surrounds the whole map. And south of Stardew Valley as well are the Fern Islands. So we're looking for a landmass which has islands beneath it, towards the South Pole. But there's a catch as well. Towards the south, there is the Gotoro Empire as well. So by looking at the map and seeing the North and South Poles, I can only say that there's only around 5 places that Stardew Valley can be. We also must take into consideration the same coloring. The same colors that you see are part of the same country for that continent. If the countries of this world are expanding, then I would say that the same coloring would mean those are the territories they own. I don't know what color that is, like for example, let's say it dark gray, has a lot of islands that are taken, a few of the bigger chunks of the empires. The same goes for the dark red. But I really think that these are different countries even though the colors are the same. Except for a few ones, and I'll get to why in a minute. Since south of Stardew Valley is the Gotoro Empire and south of Stardew Valley is the Gem Sea, here in this picture we can only see 4 different locations where south has a country. That would be the top left, the green one, but the island below it is in another color, so that would mean it's not his territory. So I can safely cross out that island. The next one is the bigger green one above the bigger landmass, and this one has a few potentials, but it doesn't have the islands south of it, which is the Fern Islands. So I think this one is also a bust. The next one that I can talk about is the bottom right corner, and there are a few islands there, which makes it a potential area for the Fern Islands, but The problem is there is no empire towards that side. Well, there is no bigger country. But since there's no bigger country there, doesn't mean that that's not the right area. The last area that I think of, and I think it's the correct one, is the bottom left one. This gray area here, I think is Stardew Valley, with the Fern Islands there. And south of Stardew Valley we can also see this big green island, which I think is the Gotoro Empire, which is spread from this bigger green one. And I think the empire is spread like this island, this island, this island. I really think that this is the Gotoro Empire, these 3 islands. Now the problem is that this color repeats. You can see it here on the smaller island there, which is next to a gray one. And also you can find it here on this bigger area. Since I already mentioned that I think that these colors don't represent a single country. These are all different countries, but the same color has been used for them. Or they can be even biomes. So for example, these are forest biomes, so it's not the country. The thing that really drove me to say that this is the Gotoro Empire that spread from here is that the Gotoro Empire is vast, so basically it's an empire. While the Ferngill Republic has a few islands which are right south of the Stardew Valley. So these are the only areas that are really correct geographically from the information that we got from the text in the game. Before focusing on this area, I really had my eyes on this one. This corner I was gonna give it my all to say that this was the Gotoro Empire here, this was Stardew Valley and everything, since there's a town right next to the Green Islands, which I would say like they are tropical islands. So I would say that these are the Fern Islands, this is Stardew Valley, and this is like, let's say, the Gotoro Empire or something. But the problem is that the Gotoro Empire is south across the Gem Sea. So the main empire is south of the area that we have. And that's why I think that this is the main empire here. Now, I may be wrong. Maybe it's located only across the Gem Sea and not south of Stardew Valley. If that is true, then that would mean that there's a lot of options to choose from in this big continent here. And maybe it's the other way around. But even so, there's only 2 real locations where the Ferngill Republic could be located at the bottom of the big continent or at the bottom of the smaller one. And as I already mentioned, I think the true location of Stardew Valley is at the bottom of the smaller one with the same colored island. And since Haunted Chocolatier is coming out, Concerned Ape has mentioned that it's going to be set in the same universe as Stardew Valley. So if that's true, then that would mean that in some of these countries around the map, we'll see Haunted Chocolatier come to life. I just don't know which one. Probably a mountainous region, maybe something on a bigger continent, completely different from the one of Stardew Valley. Or it may even be inside the Gotoro Empire. You never know. My other reason for choosing this location as Stardew Valley is that towards the northwest corner we could see the desert, which is here. But that's only if that's a biome and not a country. Still, it's a really perfect placement for the coloring of the map as well, so for the Stardew Valley one. And we can see the greener mountains, which are completely on the north. This would mean that this whole area is open to the shoreline, making it the perfect location from what we all know so far. And for this island at the top, I would say that this is the Prairie Island that was mentioned in the movie, because the location of the Prairie Island is towards the west part of the world, and there is no island towards the west except this one. But there you have it. This is the true location of Stardew Valley. This is where we play, and we can finally find it on the map, which is quite fun. For me it was quite a journey, and to be honest, this is not the type of content that I usually do. I usually do guides and things like that, but This was quite fun for me to change it up a bit, and who knows, maybe I can continue making videos like this. I would love to hear your thoughts on this and let me know down below. Also, I would really like to hear your thoughts on where do you think Stardew Valley is located on this world map? Or do you think that this world map is just pure decoration? But that's it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and also subscribe to the channel to support my little YouTube hobby. I hope you all have a great day and I will see you all in my next one. But till then, stay safe.